Minnesota has a waterfalls tour road trip? Let's take a look at it. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, I do a lot of backpacking trips. I do a lot of the reviews of the gear I use on these trips. I do some travel. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. I find myself on the North Shore. Not that North Shore, the Minnesota North Shore. It's the north shoreline of Lake Superior in northern Minnesota. And along this are 7 magnificent waterfalls that you can do on a road trip. You can do this in a day if you would like to. We decided to slow it down, do some camping along the way, and just take our time. And this morning, before anybody is here, before anything is open, we're gonna check out the first stop on this waterfall tour. I was scrolling through Facebook a little while ago, and this article popped up from Only in Your State. I don't know if they have them in other states, but they pop up for us about features of Minnesota. And they listed this waterfall tour on there, and I read it. And I thought that'd be fun. I've seen all these waterfalls on an individual basis, but not as an intentional trip. So I figure let's just pack up the car, make this a couple-day trip. Right now, if you haven't guessed, I'm at Gooseberry State Park, where we spent the night and we're up early. And the falls, the first one on this trip, it's right down there. The first falls on this trip is at Gooseberry State Park. Now this is iconic Minnesota. The Gooseberry River and the Gooseberry Falls is just famous for anybody who lives in Minnesota. So if you get up this way, be sure to stop at Gooseberry State Park. Now this, in early spring, is usually raging and rushing with tons and tons of water from all the spring snow melt. It's dried off a little bit. I've even been here when I could just walk around all of this because it's dry, bone dry, but right now we're kind of in between. And there's 3 basic falls. There's the high falls, which is up towards the highway, the middle falls, which is here, and then a smaller lower falls down there. So let's check out the lower falls and work our way back up. Now we're down on the bottom. This is the Gooseberry River, and in the summertime, probably today, a little bit later in the day, there'll be kids swimming in here, dogs running around, because like I said, all the campsites are full, one of the most popular state parks in the state. You can see the lower falls behind me. It's kind of a trickle right now. Those are the middle falls, the main falls of Gooseberry. Flowing pretty well, but like I said earlier in the season, it's 2-3 times that, and it's just amazing to see. The other thing I like about this park is there's a few fences, but you're kind of free to roam around without too much of a safety net. Just be sure you got good footwear and you're not afraid to get wet. Now up to High Falls, which is basically right by the highway, Highway 61, which is the main drag that runs along the North Shore. Gooseberry Falls Park done. Now it's time to the next spot, but we might grab some breakfast in Silver Bay. Just before Kettle State Park, there's a place called Palisade Head. This is basically a huge overlook that's popular for sightseeing and rock climbers. Kind of crazy. There's some rain rolling in, a lot of cloud cover, so you can't see any of the depth. But we're way up high. Lake Superior's down there, and it just stretches forever. You can't see it. Too bad the cloud cover really isn't doing this view justice, because from up here the expanse is just majestic, but we're basically in a rain cloud now. The wind's coming up. Maybe we'll visit this one more time on the way back down. The rain has not subsided, so we decided to just hit the trail anyway. It's about a 0.7 mile hike to the high falls in Kettle State Park. Very popular park, again, very popular part of the trail, because this is actually a spur trail that leads to the Superior hiking trail. We've already seen a lot of backpackers kind of packing up and heading out, including a group in front of us. High Falls and Ilgen Falls. I think that's what they call two-step falls or something. But those are the two waterfalls on this section. High Falls is awesome. Ilgen Falls, they're okay. Either way, they're both worth a look. Gotta watch them doggies on the trail. As we come down the trail, the two-step falls, or Ilgen Falls, it actually goes behind the actual campsite. So you may see some tents and trailers off to your right. But keep going, and you get the big, long staircase down. And the best part about it is, you have to climb back up. That's Ilgen Falls, or now called Two-Step Falls. First one is really nice, then it cascades over another little section here. I think worth the 0.3 extra. Now it's raining. So it's a mile back to the car and to the next stop. Right from Highway 61, which is the road that follows Lake Superior, we turn inland and come to George Crosby Stills Nash and Young. George H. Crosby Manitou. We're looking at about a mile hike in. The rain has left, so let's cross our fingers that it stays that way. Now, it's a pretty overgrown, rugged park, which means there's a lot of bugs, a lot of mosquitoes. All our clothes are treated with permethrin, shoes, socks, pants, shirts. And just to give some extra protection, we got the head nets. And if you're coming into mosquito country, which is also known as Minnesota, get yourself a head net. We have arrived at the Crosby Cascades. Now that's what these falls are called. Now it's a quick stop, it's only a mile hike in, but the adventure here is getting off the beaten path into some remote country, remote trails. Whoa! Just to see the next stop and the next falls of our adventure. Fantastic, fun, hidden, and seldomly talked about waterfall. George H. Crosby Manitou State Park is worth making the stop. As we're coming out of George H. Crosby Manitou State Park, there's another reason why we are on this waterfall tour. Is we're also making strategic stops to drop off resupply boxes. The first one was at the Superior Hiking Trail Association headquarters in Two Harbors. The second one was in Silver Bay, where there's actually a person who lives really close to the trail and offered to, keep resupplies there. And we just dropped off the one in Finland, the Finland Recreation Center. And then after this, which will be tomorrow, we get to go to Lutzen to drop off a supply box. And then finally to Grand Marais to drop off the last resupply box, which will be her first resupply box. Because Miss Janelle back there, starting in a couple of days, is starting at the northern terminus of the Superior Hiking Trail by Canada. And she's through hiking 310 miles south, all the way to the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. So, wish her luck. If you want to follow her adventures, check her out on Instagram and TikTok. I'll leave links to her social medias in the description box below. A bonus stop on the waterfall tour is the Caribou Wayside Rest. It's a very big and wonderful parking lot and restroom behind me. No overnight parking here. However, from this trailhead is Caribou Falls. Only a half mile up. Let's check it out. Caribou Falls is just ahead. This is not on the original waterfall tour. Now, if you want to know the link to where I found this tour, I'll leave the link to that in the description below. We have settled in for the night at Temperance River State Park. Got the accommodations here. It's another full campsite. All these state parks along the North Shore, from Gooseberry, Split Rock, Temperance, Tetagooch, they all book up months and months in advance. So if you're thinking about coming up to the North Shore, plan your trip well in advance. I'm talking like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance and get those spots reserved. You can continue to monitor the reservation website and things do pop up here and there. That's how I got these sites. I just kept monitoring, and a couple popped up, and I just took them as they came. But Lake Superior is right there. Let's take a peek at it. This, friends, is the largest lake in the world. Good morning. At 6:35 in the morning, 40 degrees. It took us about 13 seconds to pack up camp and pull off onto the main highway to the Temperance River Falls. It's an extremely short hike to see them. One small fall is called the Ancient Waterfall, and it's hidden deep into this cavern, like this crevice. And that thing's been flowing, I guess, for eons. And now we're going to try to get a little closer. Now, half a mile up, this is another spur trail that leads directly to the Superior hiking trail. So got about a mile hike in total this morning. And as you continue up the trail, it's a good half mile. You come to the last significant waterfall at Temperance. Just got back up to the main road to the car, but I'm now heading south on Highway 61 to cross the bridge because there's a waterfall right down there. Through here, and it's really loud. Highway 61 is right up there. Man. As we head north, we come to Cascade River State Park. Now, this particular state park has a very high concentration of waterfalls. Now you can access this trail right from Highway 61. There's a little wayside you can pull into and hit the trail right from the highway. We decided to go all the way into the park at the main trailhead, and take a little trail down here. Didn't do the whole Cascade River loop. That's kind of more of a like a day hike type thing, and it goes away from the river and away from the waterfalls. So that's not the goal of this trip. This trip is to see all the waterfalls. We got 2 more places to visit today before we wrap her up. We are making our way northbound. And our second to last stop is Judge C.R. Magny State Park, home of the famous Devil's Kettle. Once you cross the bridge over Brule River, it's a mile hike to Devil's Kettle. Now, be warned, there's a lot of steps and a lot of elevation. And when the falls are really going, it's pretty wet down there as well. Again, proper footwear. I would say out of all the trails that we've been on so far, Tetagooch was fairly moderate. This one, Judge C.R. Magny, down to Kettle's Falls, there's 192 steps that go all the way down. Now, that's not so bad. However, what goes down, in this case, must come up. And that can lead to a very challenging hike as well. So if you take your time and just keep going, you can make it. I have faith in you. That's a pretty long way down. Now, as you get to the bottom of the steps, it starts to even out, and you can hear the falls, right? And you can actually climb down to the bottom of the falls. What I like about these falls is there's always a really fine mist that comes blowing off of these. So on a really hot day, or if you're hiking through on the spear hiking trail, you can stand here and get that mist cooling effect. It's really refreshing, and you could dip your feet if you wanted to, but do not go in there. You could get swept away. As we leave Upper Falls here, we're not quite done because we actually have to look at the Devil's Kettle, which is only 700 more feet uphill. Up the stairs, and we come to the Devil's Kettle lookout. I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll explain the mystery behind Devil's Kettle. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but as the water comes down, it goes into this hole right here. It's like a cave. So there's a separate stream of water that escapes and goes around to the rest of the river, but all this water flows into this hole called the Devil's Kettle. Nobody knows where that water goes or where it comes out of. In the past, they've done experiments. They put like different colored dyes down there. They've also put ping pong balls down there, and they monitor the North Shore and downriver, and it has never come up anywhere, anytime. It's just an amazing natural wonder Devil's Kettle is. And it is a little bit of a challenge, this trail. I would say that this is probably the most challenging trail on this tour. Again, like I said, just take your time. When you're up here, you should be taking your time anyways. And now we have 192 steps back up. I'm sitting at the bottom of these stairs, the 192 steps. I think I'm gonna run up them. Come on. I'm almost there. Just kidding. I'm halfway there. Don't look up, because it's way up there. Sorry for the shaky camera. I got this far. That was a mistake. Yeah. I would say, as a whole, this stop, Judge C.R. Magny and the Devil's Kettle, is the most challenging trail on the waterfall tour. Woo.
Not even.
Some of you have followed my videos. I have guests on my videos sometimes. And this vehicle belongs to one Swag on the trail. So Swag, if you're watching, what's up? Why are you following me? Grand Portage State Park. The cool thing about this park is it's right next to the border of Canada. The border crossing is right there. And this is a day use park. There's no overnight camping, nothing like that. So when you're coming out of Canada, the first thing you come to is this park. Then obviously you head into the depths of Minnesota. But not too far is a trail that leads us to Pigeon Falls, which is the highest waterfall in Minnesota. Slight correction, it's the high falls at Pigeon River. And a half mile from the parking lot, up the steps, and you come to high falls at Pigeon River. Enjoy, friends. I want to thank you for joining me on this waterfalls tour. It's been just an epic few days. Again, if you're looking to do this waterfall tour, I'll leave a link in the description of this video to where you can find the tour that I followed. I did find a web-friendly version, so you should be able to find it in that link. If you have any questions about this tour or about Minnesota, leave those questions, comments in the area below. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. Otherwise, get outside, find your own adventure, and see this big, beautiful world. We'll see you on the next one. Do you remember at the beginning of this whole waterfall tour, we came up to Palisade Head and it was completely cloudy? Well, I promised you I'd be back, and here I am. Again, thanks for watching, friends. We'll see you on the trail.